These stories are inspired by the actual case files of the Office of Scientific Investigation and Research.
Haran, I want you and Gina to deliver this load to the warehouse. I want the cleaning and cataloging to start tomorrow. Gotcha, boss.
Frederick, sir, any special instructions?
Just one. Drive very carefully. And hurry back for dinner. We all deserve to celebrate.
Allergies acting up again.
Well, tombs and allergy seem to go hand in hand. How's the translation coming?
Slowly. But I've almost got it.
What about this part?
That section's gonna take a while. I'm only working with the top half of the symbols.
Diana, you okay?
Yeah, I'm just worn out, I guess.
Well, this heat is unbearable. Here.
Thanks. So, man, can't we go to the party now?
Soon enough, Diana. Come on. Revel in the magic of this chamber. Look around at what you see. An ancient culture 3 millennia old. All watched over by Anubis. Guarding the treasures of another time.
Not again.
It's great for the sinuses, though.
Frederick, the hieroglyphic at the tomb entrance, it reads, all those who disturb this tomb will die.
Well, what's a tomb without a curse, eh? Help, Ranger! Let's get them out of here!
Any archaeologist who is about to unseal and enter an ancient burial site does so with a degree of caution and perhaps even trepidation. For archaeologists are especially aware of the sudden and untimely deaths which befell most of those who entered, and some say defiled, Egyptian King Tutankhamun's final resting place. These events are the basis for the legend of the curse of the mummy's tomb. Could the power of an ancient curse reach into the present? In case file 631136, the OSIR was compelled to consider this possibility.
Does it? Not soon enough for me, thank you very much.
Yes, we're done.
What's with you today, Gina? You're too quiet.
We have done wrong removing these artifacts.
What do you mean done wrong? We're just doing our job.
The gods will not be happy with this desecration of the tomb.
Ah, superstitious, are we?
Let's get back to the site. They're probably celebrating without us, huh?
Everyone.
Well, knowing Frederick, they're all probably passed out already. Yo! Frederick! Rosetta!
Something's wrong.
Oh no.
Ranger! Diana!
Are they...
Dead.
Professor Roberts? Frederick, are you in there?
Help me, please.
Initial log entry, case manager Connor Doyle. We've arrived at a dig site near Alexandria in Lower Egypt to continue investigation of the mysterious deaths connected with the excavation of the recently discovered tomb. The dig leader, Professor Frederick Roberts, remains in serious condition and is being monitored by our physicians. The mobile lab has been airlifted and is on site.
The fact that all the deaths happened so suddenly and violently led me to believe it was some form of food poisoning. You know, Pharaoh's revenge. But the cause of death was massive parenchymal hemorrhaging, bleeding inside the brain itself. The brain tissue had also been ravaged in each of the victims. However, my autopsies could find no evidence of a virus, nor was there any hemorrhaging in other areas of the bodies. The case baffles me and my colleagues.
We really appreciate your assistance in this investigation, both of you.
Those tests you did, hypnosis and DEP,
Digitally enhanced polygraph and regressive hypnosis, yes.
what did you learn?
Well, the results are relative. As we eliminate each possibility for the cause of the phenomenon, what we're left with, in most cases, should be the responsible factor.
However unlikely that may be.
You're wasting your time. I'm telling you, it's a curse. A death curse on all those who violate the tomb.
We'll keep that in mind.
There's Gina for you. Next you'll be telling me to string garlic around my windows.
Now, you may be skeptical, but you did mention that you had a dream, both of you, actually.
Well, yes, the god Anubis told me the curse was at work, and death will come to all those who disturb the sacred objects within, but it was only a dream.
Same dream for both of you?
We must return the artifacts to the rightful place and seal the tomb. Otherwise, people will keep dying. His condition is stabilized.
That's good news.
Who's going to keep dying?
The curse must not be taken lightly. You must convince these investigators to return the artifacts to the tomb.
Gina, that curse stuff is all in your head. The world deserves to marvel at these treasures. If anything, but for the loss of our friends. Professor Doyle, I do believe I'm on the way to recovery.
I'm glad to hear it. I'd like Dr. Davison to run some more intensive tests, if you feel up to it.
Frederick? Frederick? Where is it? I don't understand. It's not possible.
dead? What's going on here?
You must put a stop to this.
Like with the other victims, Frederick Roberts suffered intense intracranial hemorrhaging. Massive bleeding inside the skull.
Talking about something like yellow fever or even Ebola?
It's possible, but I found no other evidence of internalized bleeding. It was all localized in the brain. If it's a virus, I've never seen one attack in this way.
Except in Roberts' case, he managed to live longer than the other victims. How did we lose him?
I don't know.
Don't blame yourself. We don't even know what we're dealing with yet.
Let me take a team into the tomb.
Not yet. We'll send a probe in.
But the probe can't possibly...
Linda, one step at a time. Something is killing these people. I can't risk exposing any member of the team to a potential hazard.
Doyle, we're ready when you are.
Let's proceed. Guide the probe into the tomb. Activate visuals.
I'm slowing down. Let's take a look around.
Any evidence of hazardous materials or toxic gases?
Negative. All levels within a normal range.
The drawings appear to indicate the Middle Kingdom. They're consistent with the 11th or 12th dynasty.
What's the time frame?
Anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 years old.
Probe entering the antechamber. Prepare to monitor for any abnormal energy field. Standing by.
It's odd. Professor Roberts' report makes no mention of a burial chamber.
Or a sarcophagus. Perhaps the burial chamber entrance was filled in by the mudslide. Activate ground penetrating radar.
The overall area is anywhere from 3 to 5 meters.
But
there's no indication of any other hallways, passageways, or chambers, and specifically, no burial chambers.
So what is this tomb housing?
So like I told you, we brought the artifacts in here and stored them inside.
They were all standing by for the dig team to finish the cleaning process and initiate labeling and cataloging.
Were either of you ever exposed to the artifacts?
I don't think so.
Everything is wrapped in protective plastic for leaving the site.
And we've had the storage area sealed off and guarded since our arrival.
So why did you bring us here?
We need you to walk us through your routine when you delivered the artifacts to this location.
We want to know if anything out of the ordinary happened.
I can't go any further.
I understand that you're apprehensive, but we need as much information as you and Gina can provide.
We pulled up, dropped objects off, and left. There's nothing else to tell.
Who's there? No! 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 Anubis! No!
He's dead.
The curse speaks the truth. All those who disturb this tomb will die, and we will be next.
Case log update. While performing a routine walkthrough with 2 of the experiencers, this case suffered its 8th casualty, Ron Jamal. Dr. Linda Davison is conducting an autopsy on the victim. Results will be forwarded immediately.
I'm currently working on the line under the deciphered death curse, but because of rock deterioration, it's been a real guessing game.
Any idea what it might say?
Well, this says shall not, and this could be within, and this I'm not certain about, but I'll keep trying different combinations and see what turns up.
Can you explain the purpose of the tomb?
Not at this time. But the fact that there was no reported mummy or sarcophagus is not that unusual.
How's Gina holding up?
Oh, she's terrified, and understandably so. Every one of her co-workers has met with an untimely end, and...
She's absolutely convinced that she'll be the next to die.
We should continue counseling her, but I'm concerned. A curse's essence lies in the imaginative projection of ill will.
Like the cancer sufferer expecting to die is more likely to die than the one who fights the illness?
So a cursed person can simply will themselves to die due to lost hope.
Even though Gina never handled the artifacts directly, she feels instrumental in disturbing the tomb.
Yet she's alive. According to Haran Jamal's statement, he never touched the artifacts either, and he's dead.
What are the results of his autopsy?
Once again, intracranial hemorrhaging. But his brain cells show none of the tissue destruction I found in all the other victims.
So a different cause of death?
Same cause of death. Different extenuating circumstances.
Let's do it. Let's send a team into the tomb. At the same time, initiate analysis of the artifacts at the warehouse.
Full precautions?
Absolutely. Priority 1 hazmat and disinfection measures in place. I want the same group at the end of this phase that we started with. Donner, your environmental readings indicate no hazardous materials. Do you copy?
Copy that. I'm going to collect some surface samples directly from the remaining artifacts. We'll seal them and deliver them for disinfection.
Affirmative. Let's maintain monitoring for another hour, then reconvene at 2200 hours to begin analysis of the samples.
I copy. Donner out. Let's transfer this to the warehouse. Carefully.
That dream again, weren't you?
It is coming for me.
Why does Anubis frighten you?
He protects the domain of the dead. How else do you explain why everyone connected to this place has died?
Gina, if you'll believe that there may be a rational explanation, then we can help you get through this.
The round object. You ever see a dust particle that looks like that? I'm going to isolate it on a culture medium. Then I'll run some tests.
When I get a green light, I'm going to proceed with chemical examination of the artifacts.
Affirmative. I'll join you as soon as I'm clean.
It's like a jigsaw puzzle with only half the picture to work from.
Okay. This could only be one of 3 words. If it's released, we've got...
Lies within, shall not, released. These 2 symbols are the key.
Wait a minute. Could it be... I should have seen this hours ago.
Released. Released what?
Connor, I want you to have a look at an irregular dust sample I collected.
Irregular? How do you mean?
Well, the particle shape and texture are unique.
What particle?
Now it's bacterial in appearance, but moving in patterns I'm not familiar with.
Is it contained?
Yes.
How did the bacteria originate?
It's almost inconceivable, but if the particle was a type of spore...
Germination could be triggered by the heat and moisture generated by the isolating gel.
But the spore would have been dormant for centuries.
Now it's gone.
It must have an extremely short lifespan once activated.
That would explain why we weren't able to find bacterial residue in any of the victims. I think we found your curse.
But has it been released?
All disinfection methods completed?
I ran them twice to be sure. Now let's see if this tells us anything.
What is going on?
We'll explain later. The main thing is you're okay.
Obviously, our disinfection methods failed.
The spores most closely resemble the Clostridium genus, but of a strain I've never seen before.
And once inhaled, they targeted the brain and became an active, extremely deadly form of bacteria.
The tomb wasn't a burial chamber designed to keep grave robbers out, but a jail of sorts to keep the spores inside.
But Ron, he never entered the tomb. How did he die of the same thing?
Pure coincidence. I ran further tests and discovered he was taking warfarin.
A form of rat poison.
He had a heart condition. The warfarin acted as an anticoagulant to ward off strokes. A side effect is a proneness to extensive localized bleeding.
Triggered when he fell and hit his head. What about Frederick?
He had an allergy condition, meaning his nasal passages were more resistant to foreign particles.
But that only delayed the inevitable.
There was nothing I could do.
I understand. Final case log entry. To date, all disinfection and eradication techniques have been unable to terminate the deadly spores. To prevent any further exposure to this unknown and extremely lethal spore-related bacteria, I've had all the artifacts returned to the tomb and ordered it to be sealed behind a wall of concrete. Closing file number 631136. Connor Doyle, out.
Some myths, like mushrooms, grow in darkness. It is only under the light of scientific scrutiny that we are able to separate superstitious and fantastic causes of fatalities from ones which are actually biophysical in nature. Curse or no curse, the message seems to be clear. Leave the dead to rest in their places of peace.
It's Flight 66 Alpha out of Chicago. They say they were hit by lightning dead on.
Where are they?
Coming out of the storm 20 miles to the northeast, 7,000 feet and dropping. I've got emergency vehicles standing by.
Struck by lightning. Systems are all shorted out. God, I can't touch the controls. But help him, he's got no pulse.
Control tower, what is your current condition?
Pilot's out cold. Controls frozen. Gauge is malfunctioning. We're going down.
Flight 66 Alpha, is your landing gear down?
There's no way to tell. The whole panel's shorted out.
66 Alpha, come in. 66 Alpha, do you read? Come in. This is control tower. Do you read? They have no landing gear.
Knocked him out. Put this on. Make sure his head stays back and below when I tell you.
Bill, they're on final.
They must have control back. Their landing gear just came down.
Still no radio contact. They're coming in pretty fast.
Flight 66 Alpha, come in.
Jarvis?
O'Brien. I'm the flight attendant.
Is everyone else okay?
The pilot's in bad shape. Co-pilot Parks is unconscious.
Who landed the plane?
To some, a miracle may be an act of God. To others, it's ordinary people performing incredible feats in extraordinary situations. When the OSIR was engaged to investigate mysterious occurrences during a crisis aboard a private aircraft, they were confronted with the analysis of a seemingly miraculous event.
File number 260122.
Don't worry, Jarvis. You're gonna be all right.
Connor Doyle en route to investigate a purported miraculous healing of the stricken pilot.
Well, both saw.
I mean, we saw her right there.
Plain as day, Warren.
We looked everywhere. There's no one else there.
Yeah, hold it. Wait a minute. Come here. She saved the pilot's life. I watched her do it. Now, maybe she already left the plane.
The plane was still pressurized when the emergency crew opened the door. There's no one else on the plane.
Preliminary interviews beginning with individuals who claim to have witnessed the event and to have experienced a technically impossible aircraft landing. Passengers suggest they may have been aided by a mysterious female entity.
So you guys aren't FBI or FAA?
No, we're an independent organization.
Tell you what you're gonna find. The avionics are a total write-off.
The damage have occurred after it landed?
Co-pilot said all the systems went dead right after it got struck by lightning.
Winkler?
Electrical system definitely looks burnt out.
I saw the landing gear come down, I saw the plane land. I'll tell you one thing. I've been in this business 15 years. There's no way in hell that baby should have come out of the sky in one piece.
We received the weather report and proceeded to an altitude that should have been safely above the thunderstorm. It was a bright flash. It seemed to come from below, yet I've never heard of lightning shooting up like that. I was blinded. I felt a sharp pain radiate up my left arm. My chest seized up like I was caught in a huge vice. Well, then I just blacked out.
Well, you take microchips, people think they're magic. But really, they're just capacitors, transistors, resistors. Complex web of integrated circuits, but on a base level. Quite simple. Rational. Now, I don't know who she was. I don't know where she came from. I don't know where she went, but I did see her save that pilot's life. There is a rational explanation.
I'm not a great flyer on a good day. It's just about the only part of the job that I don't like.
But you fly all the time. What is it about flying that you don't like?
I don't like things that I can't understand. You know, when I look at several tons of metal and machinery and plastic and rubber, I wonder how it gets up there in the first place, never mind how it stays up there.
Yet you work for one of the leading computer system developers.
Well, Martin's a genius. He doesn't need me to understand his machines.
What does he need you for?
Communication. Martin needs help understanding people. Actually, quite a lot.
Let's discuss the night in question.
Jim, the pilot, just suddenly seized up like he'd been jolted with electricity. I was thrown backwards.
Did you ever see anyone else on the plane?
No. I don't know what Mr. Cole and Diane are talking about. When I crawled back over and listened to Jim's heart, it was going again. It was incredible.
How do you explain it?
I can't really.
You say that you were in the cockpit when the plane landed, and the co-pilot was unconscious the whole time.
Yeah?
Who do you think landed the plane?
I don't know. It's dark. Jarvis keeps yelling for help. Can't find the flashlights.
Help! The pilot's down!
intercom wasn't working, so he had to yell out through the door of the cockpit.
What's happening? I don't hear the engines.
What's wrong with the pilot? Why does it feel like we're dropping so fast?
Because the engines are dead.
Stay calm.
Yeah. It's gonna crash. This thing's gonna crash.
He's not breathing. Struck by lightning. Systems are all shorted out. We're going. I can't touch the controls. I help him. He's got no pulse.
We're in real trouble.
Help me! What can I do? Mouth to mouth. Put this on. Make sure his head stays back and blow when I tell you. Blow! He's not breathing. 1, 2, 3.
We are going down. Do something. Do something. I'm trying to help.
2, 3. Blow!
I see her.
Who do you see?
A woman. She just appeared. Out of nowhere.
She's kneeling down in front of the pilot. Where did she come from?
What are you doing? Keep going!
It's as if Mary doesn't see her.
I'm awake. I open my eyes and I see her. Never seen her before. She smiles. Everything goes black again.
Case log update. We're continuing to gather evidence from the witnesses on the plane. Co-pilot Jarvis Parks remains in a coma with severe internal damage, the result of high-voltage electrocution.
Dr. Johnson to Station 6 West, please.
Parks may well be the key to what actually happened up there that night. I'm getting all kinds of conflicting stories from the witnesses, but Parks is the only one we haven't heard from.
Dr. Davison says there's not much we can do for him. He probably won't last 48 hours. Case log update. Despite the doctor's best efforts, co-pilot Jarvis Parks' condition remains critical. We're proceeding to the environmental assessment phase, hoping it will clarify the conflicting witness testimony. Phantom pilots leave fingerprints?
Circuitry in these damn things is so vulnerable, you'd think someone would figure out a better way to protect them.
Don't these planes have redundant systems?
I suppose they were lucky just the electrical systems went down. A direct strike could cause structural damage or even ignite fuel vapor.
All things considered, I'd say lucky's a bit of an understatement.
We've been struck by bright blue light. I can't see.
Flight 66 Alpha, what happened?
I'm regaining sight. Systems are down. Gauges not functioning.
It was at that point that the radio transmission cut out. And the radio's currently non-operational.
But Finn later talked with Mary O'Brien over the radio after the plane landed.
Yes, can't explain it.
What are we looking at up there?
This is 2 new class of lightning phenomena that's recently been documented. Both happen above cloud cover and are extremely rare. On the left is the red sprite, and on the right, the blue jet. It's possible that the co-pilot was describing the latter. It appears as a cone of blue light bursting upwards at tremendous speeds.
If the plane was hit by one of these types of lightning, could it have landed safely?
Not with the electrical circuitry destroyed. The landing system, well, nothing should have functioned.
What about the reports of a 6th person on board, as the witnesses described, a fair-haired woman?
Well, the cabin was pressurized when the plane landed. The ground crew did a thorough search. We don't know how she got off the plane, or for that matter, how she got on the plane.
According to our historical background check on the area and the witnesses, this Airfield used to be used as a military landing site during World War II. Only one plane has ever crashed here in 1945. It was a medical evacuation plane. It was apparently hit by lightning.
Survivors?
None.
Well, you're the experts. You haven't found anything?
Mr. Cole, all I said was that we hadn't been able to reach any conclusions yet.
Look, she's real. I just want to reward her.
Martin, how do you explain what she did with her hands? You saw it. I know you did.
The lights were out. The plane was going down. We were under stress.
And why would she even have been on the plane in the first place?
Yes, well, that's something I'd like to ask her, too.
He refuses to believe that it could have been something else.
Like what?
I was talking to Jim, the pilot, and we both think that it could have been... I don't know, it sounds so silly to say it out loud.
Don't be shy. You'd be amazed at the things I've heard and seen.
Yes, well, she is real, and she's out there somewhere. Find her.
I don't know. Maybe she was there and I just didn't see her. Jarvis didn't land the plane. It couldn't have just happened. Doesn't make any sense, does it? I mean, why save all of us and not Jarvis? Why does this have to happen to him? I can't seem to get a hold of myself. I keep thinking maybe. Maybe if it was a miracle that saved Jim and the rest of us, then Jarvis still has a chance, you know? Maybe all I have to do is believe.
Case log update. We're proceeding to environmental monitoring. The witnesses have been rigged with full biofeedback monitoring equipment. Video and infrared surveillance will also be implemented.
You see, Mary's searching for some sort of explanation. Now, in behavioral terms, that's the survivor syndrome. She's trying to rationalize in her own mind why the events turned out the way they did, why she's okay and Parks is not. And even for someone who doubts that there was a force capable of intervening, the desire to believe is extremely powerful, especially in such dire circumstances.
You scared me. I didn't hear you come in. He's doing much better now. He is?
Her pulse appears to be rising rapidly. She appears to be talking to someone.
But the doctor said he's gonna be just fine.
Parks. He's waking up.
My God.
Mary?
Jarvis?
She's adamant. She saw a fair-haired nurse in that room.
Security at the door saw no one enter or leave.
Dr. Davison says Parks is making an unprecedented recovery. He's healing, for want of a better word, miraculously.
I want a full psychological and physiological workup done on Parks. Maybe he can help us understand what really happened.
Do something. We're going down.
everywhere. Blackness. I'm on fire. Burning. It's bad. I'm dying. Warm now. Like the sun. I open my eyes. She's flying the plane. She smiles at me. We're landing. We're okay. She's gone.
Jarvis? Jarvis?
Parks has now made a full recovery. However, we've been unable to determine exactly how this occurred.
Except for Martin Cole. All the witnesses believe they've been touched by some sort of divine intervention, which is a rational reaction, considering that no valid explanation exists.
But why do some people see this woman sometimes and not others?
Hallucinations are not uncommon in frightening circumstances. The fact that they seem to share a single vision points to one person's power of suggestion.
So one person hallucinates the angel, describes her, and for lack of a better explanation, the rest just believe that they saw her as well?
On a subconscious level. Especially if that person is someone like Martin Cole.
No, wait a minute. Martin Cole dreams up the angel and then doesn't believe in his own invention?
No, he dreamed of the image of the angel. And then he couldn't accept what that image really represents. See, he's a very practical, rational man. He won't accept things that he can't control.
But how did the plane land? And how did Parks recover?
Well, the fact is, we could actually be dealing with some form of apparition or collective PK energy.
Diane offered another imaginative explanation. She wondered if the lightning strike might not be some sort of cosmic mistake. And because it was never meant to happen, it just fixed itself.
That doesn't sound like the sort of thing Mr. Cole would believe either. Final case log. We're wrapping up the investigation after 3 months of intensive monitoring. No evidence to explain the amazing events was collected. No further sightings of the mysterious woman were reported.
What are you working on? Martin? Who are they?
The OSIR emailed me a file with pictures of those people that died in that medical evac plane that crashed at Ridgefield.
In 1945.
Do angels really exist? Several national publications have run cover stories focused on man's belief in these celestial beings. Now, officially, this file remains unresolved, but the material contained therein certainly seems to indicate that divine forces occasionally direct messengers to assist us in a beautiful and comforting way.